right? Islam. All right, Islam. First, I rise, give all praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of all the worlds and boundless universes. And I give high honors to his heavenly hosts, Mikael, Salatu Salam, Jibrail, Salatu Salam, just to name a few. And I give honors to all his holy and divine prophets from A to Z. You tuned in to the Ask the Magistrate question and answer that you've been waiting for on the Holy Day Sunday. uh, you know, Holy Day Sunday and the so-called January month in their new fiscal CE 2026 year. You know what I mean? I'd like to give honors to all of you who are in attendance. I'd like to give special honors to all the executive rulers, the Moorish Society, Free Society, Moorish Science Temple of America. I'd like to give high honors to all the dignitaries from uh, all the houses of faith that are under the nationality card jurisdiction in Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad, praise be. You tuned in to the Philadelphia Interfaith Court on the Holy Day Sunday. This is our Ask the Magistrate portion, number 7. We started this series a while ago to get folks expressed, to allow them to express and their curiosities about our faith-based family court and about our jurisdiction and uh, religious rights and immunities. And so we had on just now Baba Noel, Noble Seafood, Christopher Jackson Bay. So high honors to him, Islam, for his opening using the Moorish Science Temple of America temple, Holy Quran, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7 reading, and the Holy Divine Constitution and bylaws. So honors to him for that. Honors to my family, the Bay Band Family Trust, my empress and wife, Dr. Poetica Bay. Much love to you, honey. And high honors to Mother Miriam Stewart Ill and everybody in the family, everybody in the interfaith court. We like to give love and honors to you, all the chaplains. So we're going to take our questions here on site from one of the nobles that we have to help us deal with these questions and answers. Do we have the noble online? Well, let's see, Baba Noel. We had one of the brothers really waiting to tune in. He was in the background, but give us one of the first questions that us as a magi that you think I could go into or answer to start it off and until the brother jumps on. You know, what do you? Oh, is also in the middle of trying to handle things because of his disability that he's going through right now. And you know how the United States of America, you know how hard it is sometimes when you're trying to and that's the thing. Because
Hello? Y'all can't hear me. I'm here, but I don't know if y'all can hear me because I'm in, but I don't know. Is my phone doing this?
We hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now.
Yeah, no, we've been hearing you the whole time. Yes. It was never a problem.
No, it was probably my phone or something.
No, we've been hearing you. You just say the same thing over and over while we listen. Yes.
My
So
bad.
Islam to you, by the way.
I'm so sorry. Damn, bro. I was so hyped. I should have got the technical difficulties out the way.
No, it's not. Listen, this stuff that was like Jetsons. They didn't, you know what I mean? Finally, they keep switching up the models, and every year they add new features, and they can't, you know what I'm saying? So it take a second.
I like it simple, like it was fucking Skype.
Well, they have glitches because there's much more traffic. Yes. So to them trying to crunch all the algorithms and streaming and it's crazy. So, but Islam to you, brother man. Thank for the coming through to the forum. And this is our 7th portion of our Ask the Magi. I started it about a year and a half ago, solar year. And, so many people wanted to ask me questions outside of court cases, outside of trial, outside of actually doing video affidavits. And so I had to really, finally start taking the Q&A. And I said, this more right here, you know what I mean? Brother L. Day, he has such a masterful mastermind type of mind. His questions
it's a
alone.
Gemini curiosity.
Yeah, but see that, like he said, he has that right after, that mid-spring baby. He's been born in June sometime. Right?
June the 5th is a magical day, they say, for Magi.
See, there you go. Dang, wow. Islam and that. So yeah, just start us off because I know you maybe have a list of questions, and if you're just tuning in, everybody, this is our International Interfaith Court, our Philadelphia Interfaith Court, Ask the Magistrate portion, and high honors Noble Chris Jackson Bay did our opening with our Moorish Science Temple of America Sunday School literature and readings, and we have the Noble El Day on here, Anime El Day.
One of my other names.
Yeah, one of his other titles, and you know what I'm saying. I just knew you had some Anime El Day. I was cool with it, you know what I'm saying. So, to give us some initial questions, and if you out there are tuned in and have any questions, please make the donation and jump in, and we will answer some of your best questions that is in accordance with history, mystery, law, civics, current events, etc. Life, love, and liberty. Who knows? Let's go. So praise Allah. I'll let you start it off, brother man, and give us a question or start your introduction of who you are.
Well, my name is Morris Chester, or Morris Chester. I go by many names. Morris Chester L. Day, Bay, or Anime L. Day. But this has been kind of a journey for me, man. I got into this movement by mistake, sort of, but the seeds were always there, like the Prince Among Slaves and me being Seminole descent. And when I got into the process, I learned a little bit of that. Everything started to click. And it was like what a seer said a while back. Oh, they didn't lie about one thing. They lied about everything. And it's just been a journey after that, especially living in Florida. We ain't got no temples down here. but the essence of Amore, it's down here deep, and you've seen it yourself. Hello?
Oh, we're here. No, no, this is normal technology. We're just listening
Yeah,
to
you're
you.
just going in and out. Like, well, dang, I was going in.
Oh, yes, that's welcome to television. When you it's your time to talk in an interview, the cameras are going to just look at you. They're not going to look at
I'm
the
like,
DJ.
what, dang, bro? What did I?
You know.
Last thing I said.
Oh no, you just started talking. Praise Allah. That's how it goes. We want to. You're going to get a spotlight.
Damn.
Continue.
What's the last thing you heard me say? I can just backtrack.
So you were stating how in Florida, I call it the Wild Wild West of the South. But
It's basically
I
one
ain't gonna
piece
start
with.
that. But you said it wasn't no temples there, so
Yeah.
you have certain questions. So go ahead, continue to move along. When you were saying like that,
But it's just so weird because there's no temples down here. Maybe if you count what a Sears doing down in Miami, but other than that, not officials like the people from Philly or Jersey or maybe even New York. But Florida, like you said, Florida's its own. DuckTales meets One Piece meets maybe Stranger Things on a good day, or Gravity Falls on a good day. Because I went, you seen some weird stuff in Florida, and they'll tell you when you come to Tampa one year, go to the St. Pete Museum of this guy. He was a Shriner, obviously. The women there, I told Chris the story. All the women there were either daughters of Muslim sons, aka the Shriners, or daughters of Job or something like that.
All
They
right,
told me
pardon
their
me.
whole occult family's history. It's like, oh yeah, my dad, my uncle, my brother, they were all Shriners. He's got this fez there. The guy who owned the hotel, museum hotel. It says Morocco there, but he never been to Morocco. I looked at it and I gave her some game. I'm like, which Morocco are you talking about? You talking about the kingdom over there that was established in 1956? Or are we talking about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship when Morocco was here? They say, oh, I never know that. Man, I put some game on that old Shriner lady and stuff. It's like, it made me smile.
So, do you have question number one? Let's go.
All
Because
right.
that went all over the
Question
place.
number
But
one.
we were trying to just find out who you are, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm really want to go more into like 501c8s and 10s, like I talked to Chris about, and just help one another, and even help other geeks start their own businesses. I'm trying to be the best more or your first Peter chapter 2 verse 9 priesthood of our new type of person with an anime protagonist mindset to it.
Okay, that's not a question, but go ahead. Question number one.
I'm sorry, I just ramble on. My bad. My question was, what's my first step to start a 501c8 or a 10?
Is that on your list of questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you saying a 501c8 or 10? What is your first step?
What would be my first? I have an idea, but it's just I have ideas,
So
but I have
thank you for that
trouble doing
question.
the step.
All right, good question. Now, if you just tuned in, the brother El Day, Anime El Day, just asked a great question in relationship to business and also nonprofit 508 and other types of status. And so we are going to give an overview of this question because it's a very good question for all of us who are doing business, especially in missionary capacity. Uh, a lot of us are doing uplifting acts in a hobbyist sense, or just as a missionary, or even just as a good person, so to speak, a good Samaritan. And so just know any of the 501c3 or 5, any of the codes, any of them, 508, all of them, they are just codifications of a status that already exists naturally. So it's not that you have to register to be a 508 or you have to register to be a 501c3. None of that is what it means. What happens is, depending on what kind of business that you have, period, whatever your operation of business is, that will most likely basically the IRS has created an individual code for that style of business. Okay. And so what happens is people register with the IRS because the IRS gives them a sheet of paper, which is an acknowledgement of the status. What that means is a lot of people they may have a church or a temple or some kind of religious worship center, right? And even though they might not even have a church, let's say they're just doing a study prayer group in their house, but they go out every weekend and give out Bible tracts, or they they do they have bow ties to get they sell their bean pies and then in their final calls on the corner, right? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Final call.
They are a lot of times thinking that they have to register with the IRS to be a 501c3, and that's not true.
Hmm.
It's all churches and ministries, no matter what the faith is, right? And that's why the Holy Divine Prophet Noble Drew Ali was Salatu Salam was so masterful by putting Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, all the major ones on the nationality card, right? Making the man with the fez on, meaning his particular society, the leaders, the automatic leaders of those different religious bodies, basically. And so we'll get into that if that comes up as another question. However, what happens is if you talk to the IRS, they will tell you exactly what I'm saying just now. They've told me different times. And what happens is you're already tax exempt or tax immune by the fact that your activity is about God or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or it's ministry based, basically. So since your activity in itself is religious, you are already exempt from taxes and nobody can shut you down or tax you or fine you or make you registered to get a business license or whatever, like things like that. So what happens is sometimes your organization may grow to the point where they want to expand and get other benefits from the state. Whenever you decide that you want that benefit, then you will register or fill out the application, a blank application from the IRS for a 501c3 or 508, let's say, right? And then you file that application and they are just acknowledging it. The reason that people like to get it acknowledged, why it is even a thing at all, is because once they get that 501c3, let's just take like a 501c3. Once they get that paperwork back from the IRS that says that they acknowledge their 501c3 status and all that, then that sheet of paper can be copied a million times. And every time somebody gives your church or ministry or masjid or temple a donation, that person get a copy of that sheet and then they can write that off in their federal taxes. So, and also to get grant money.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that if you have your temple, you're already doing activity that's 501c3 or 508. You're already doing that. But if you want to actually get other people to get a benefit from doing business with you, so if your ministry is just doing buying property and you every time you go buy, like how I do, and every time we go buy a land vessel, if you put it in the temple's name, you put it in our ministry name, you know what I'm saying? It becomes ministry, temple business, temple property, right?
Question about that
So
too.
so with that, what was I saying about that? With that, you are like doing it properly. You
You
see what I'm
got to.
saying? You got to. You see what I'm saying? So what happens is nobody will be able to tax it once you buy it in the name of the ministry anyway.
Mm.
It's just that you might start mingling or doing business at markets that have different nationalities or different types of people, let's say. And they will give you donations a lot of times faster if they can get a sheet of paper that they can take to their accountant, and their accountant can process that and get
I want to ask
more
you a
tax.
question.
You see what I'm saying? So does that answer part of what you're
Oh yeah.
saying? Oh yeah. Go ahead. Next question. Question number 2. So that was question number 1.
Could
Could
it ties back
it
into
ties back
question
into
number one
question
though?
number 1 though? Go ahead.
Could you
Could you
do this
do
in
this in
another,
another,
say in another
say in
country
another country
internationally?
internationally? Well, would do what internationally?
Say maybe
Say
in
maybe in
Japan, the
Japan,
Kingdom of
the Kingdom of
Morocco,
Morocco,
etc.
etc. Oh, well, just know, um, if you they are all mostly bowing to American laws and economics. So come to find out, uh, well, come to find out, we could have been registering our corporations in different countries this whole time. All these LLCs people got and stuff, the foreign venue Albions, the U.S. venue, they have so much clout in the minds of foreigner relations and those people because they got everything wacky doodle with the monetary systems over there. They print money and they devalue them. They take their metals and stuff, and they tell them that their money still ain't worth nothing. So they have whatever got kind of thing that they do, but come to find out, all the LLCs and corporations that we have had since we was 21 or whatever you came up back in the day, we could have been went to uh an African or Asian country, and they was always jocking Jay-Z. They
Yeah,
was
they were.
always they was always so we could have registered there for pennies on the dollar, got a bank account in Thailand, all these places, and you could have went to Cambodia. I mean, like you could have went to Hong Kong and been shipping containers back since you was 30. We could have been put money in on it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So on a nonprofit side of things, um, it's not quite the same because they don't have an IRS. So it's not like you're getting to give people tax write-offs over there per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I really
That's
want
what
to
I
know.
really
What's how
want to
to
know. What's how to
work around that
work
over there.
around that over there? Well, it's not really working around. We're just answering your questions,
Okay.
but the question might not apply to what you want to do anyway. You might need to ask another question. I'm just answering it the way you're giving me. If you just tuned in, we have um, our Ask the Magistrate portion today here on Philadelphia Interfaith Court. I'm the Magi Sufi Il. And if you missed it earlier, we had a grand opening with our uh, Noble Seafood, Christopher Jackson Bay, brother, aka Baba Noel's, who's been out for the 12 days of Christmas, Moorish Christmas. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali birthday is coming up January 8th. And we start from the regular Christmas all the way through the 12 days, and he's been out doing the uplifting acts. So honors to him for that. And he opened up with our Moorish Science Temple of America Sunday School readings and openings. So Islam. And we are on question number 3. I give honors to Brother Shem Aaron Hall, one of our newest members from the Interfaith Court in New Jerusalem. Praise Allah for you, and we're happy to know you're back and in effect, and safe and secure. We pray, and give it if there's any update. You can give us an update. If not, it's fine. We're doing this is our portion 7 of our question and answer. In our last class, if you remember, we had 2 classes in a row of our legal writing course for federal lawsuits, and that will be coming back around. And so you can ask a question about that as well. We're talking about life, love, liberty.
Right.
We don't want to be a savage in
Hmm?
pursuit of happiness, so we don't want to be
Right.
avoiding stuff
No.
the law. So
Okay.
we're not trying to be savages in pursuit of happiness,
Mm.
but love, life,
It's right
liberty,
there.
freedom, justice, equality, court cases, law,
No, right
history,
here.
mystery, spirituality. That's where we are here. And so Baba Noel is officially the actual Sharif of our Philadelphia Interfaith Court. So he's been the sheriff there when we were in the biggest courthouse in Philly when I had my courtrooms down there for 2 years. Commander Farouk, Asim Osep Bey, Islam to him, he was our first bailiff, and Baba Noel here was our sheriff, and he served well. So he's our Sharif and law clerk, law expert, and so I'll have him on as a fellow Magi, and he's still dressed in his Magi gear. But brother Shem,
Looking like
is there
Pycon.
anything you want to build on or questions you had?
I'm just getting caught back up because Christmas morning I was out doing something. Somebody's vehicle blew up in front of mine, so I had to take some time off.
Wow.
Yeah, God is good. Most High, great.
Oh my goodness, he's great.
Yeah, I'm talking about it. Literally blew up in front of me. It only cracked my front windshield of my glass and punctured the radiator of my truck. I survived. Yeah, we were moving too. It wasn't standstill. And I could not get out of traffic or anything. And all in my mind, I was thinking, if I go, I have no federal case. That's
Lord
all
have
I was
mercy.
thinking.
Wow.
That's all I was thinking. I said, if I do not make it, all the work I done did goes out the window. The lives I'm trying to save with the federal court case, they will be lost. And I just won. And then earlier when I got your message, I said, nah. I had just came from a church service. I had went to a service out near where it happened, like things goes down 295. I just went over there. My cousin was singing there, and I didn't know she sent the message out. And I said, that's where I'm going. Wherever the God spirit is, that's where I'm going. That's where I was at.
Yo,
I've been doing my
honestly,
homework, all of this stuff for me to write down. I still been compiling my questions, so I make sure I don't get anything wrong. And that way I stay on track. You know what I mean? As far as staying on the correct subject, so it doesn't like deviate off the path that I'm trying to go.
Remember, I was telling you that the who, what, where, and how is the best way to keep going back to that.
Right.
If you start asking why or putting in reasonings why this and why that, this is why this happened. If you're what they call that, don't make legal determination.
Oh, okay. Right.
As much as possible in your affidavit, state what happened, and then don't try to say this means that it's assault and battery.
Right.
Now, the more you put in legal determination, that weakens your affidavit because the affidavit is the statement of the facts, not the law.
Right. I have a question. Now, there's some video footage. Now, when they take video footage and they submit it to a courtroom and they're done with it, do they put that video footage in the archives?
All right. So, yes. Now, this is question number 5. Yes, they put it in the archives, and you can pay, or they may give it to you for free for nominally $2, most free. Go to the clerk, go to the records room, and when you walk in, even if you don't know where it's at, they'll tell you.
Okay.
And you go to the records room, and you get your records. And shoot, sometimes you can go to the records room, and they'll give you a DVD of the police cam footage.
They can give me a DVD, a travel drive, long as it work on the TV for the people to see it.
Yeah, they'll give you a DVD, and so you got to remember all those things. These are great questions. If you just tuned in, it's to Ask the Magistrate with myself, Magi Chaplain Sufi Il. I actually got the Magi Baba Noel Nobles Seafood Christopher Jackson Bay up on here. This is crazy.
Peace and
So
blessings.
whatever, I'll actually might have him jump in and answer a few questions if it gets too deep. And so This is Ask the Magistrate portion 7, where you can ask anything pretty much you want. We put the Cash App on the bottom for all those who might be new to or are non-members. But we have all members on right now, and we're just taking our members' questions freely. And so, praise Allah, give high honors, holy and divine prophets. And we will get back to our individual classes very soon as far as our legal writing workshop. And you can continue to ask these questions, though I'm just saying for others who are maybe tuned in and just want that. This is a portion that we're asking a lot, and partially inspired by brother Anime L Day here, Honest M online, who has his questions and that we're really about to get into as well. And so with that, repeat what was the part where I was answering last?
About the DVD.
Oh, so within the records room, this remember is all kind of stuff like that, if applicable.
Right.
You know, sometimes you can forget. That's why I'm mentioning it. Yeah, you can get the DVD or the body cam footage. Sometimes, if some states' courts, you know how they do, they actually videotape it.
Yeah, what it is that I'm going
now,
you want to go video ahead. Footage from the security cam from the stores where it happened.
Well, that's different. You would have to.
Yeah, I was outside.
No.
The store cameras caught it.
What are you talking about? A store from when? A case you had?
Okay, yeah, the case is basically of what I'm trying to file because 2 little girls got abducted.
So yeah, that's called a subpoena.
All right, okay.
Yeah, that's just part of your process. You would have to subpoena the footage if you don't know the store and they're not cool with you or whatever.
Yeah, so I tried to go back to the store, and I'm gonna have to go the legal route because I think somebody got there before me.
It's typical.
Yeah, somebody got there before me.
However, when we were speaking about your case, that may be an irrelevant point, because why do you need the footage? You already know who did it and why. You already actually had a court case after that.
The court case that I want to go to and subpoena from, I never made it back there.
You had another court date after that, right?
Yeah, but it was with somebody else. That judge was wanting to see the tapes, and he wanted me to be there. One of his sheriffs was in the military, and he was at a guard base where I was at like years and years ago. And when I got in the courtroom, he asked him, why was I standing here by myself? If there's other involvements, and he had like, and not just an did what? You know, because like it's basically seeming like I'm advocating for my life and then these kids' lives, and it's like, well, where's mom and stuff like that. So this judge and the sheriff was like, hey, the judge bent down. He was like, off the record. He said, you know him? He said, yes. His name was Keltower, Officer Keltower. He said, I know him. And then he also walks over to the VA under Cooper Hospital, and I'll be parked up. I always see him. We always talk. And when he said that, he said, he looked at the prosecutor and all them other people. He was like, get the tapes in here. You got 30 days. I never seen him after that 30 days.
You never went back to that trial?
I went there. They said my court date wasn't set yet, and they were still gathering information of the other parties. So, what happened? I ended up downstairs at a family court. So I went downstairs and I said, hey, look, I got some issues and it's involving some children and stuff like that. Who do I talk to? And when is this court date?
Talking about now? Because
it's for that same thing.
No, you talking all over the board, and I don't even know what in the world you're saying now.
All right, so I went from up.
You needed tapes from the store. Then why do we keep talking about court sessions?
Because they said that they had it at the court. That's what had me in the court.
Then you would have to look on the record. You have to turn your microphone down and say it. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was saying that
you have to look in the record rooms for all evidence that was submitted on the case, if that was the case.
Yeah, see, I don't know too much about it.
No, I'm saying that's not, you don't have to. Somebody says you need some food stamps card, go down, whatever they say go fill out one sheet of paper, then that shouldn't be your answer. Oh, I don't know. You're saying that the evidence of the footage is in the court record?
Yes.
Then why are we already answered that question then?
Yeah, see, that's what I need. I need to get that.
No. Okay, so what did you get as the answer I said before?
What for the video being in the court?
No, anything. I said all of it's at the record room, right?
Yeah, it should be.
No, that's what we said.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm saying I already answered this. Why does it? You can make a million examples. I gave the best example possible. I said that you can get copies. You started off saying, "Can I get a copy of my case XYZ?" I said, "Yeah, you can get that at the records room." Matter of fact, the records room is so dope that you can get a copy of your goddamn body cam footage of the arrest if you want to in there. So that should have clued you in to answer anything else that you think it's in that record, right?
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along. Okay.
All right, I ain't got no more questions. I know what I need to do.
But you gotta allow it to process, or else it's overly an emotional issue. You'll never solve the problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get them overly emotional people out of my hair.
No, you're being overly emotional now.
No,
because listen what I'm trying to tell you. Listen what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of times it's okay because you may be the parent. So it's not a problem.
I am the parent.
Okay.
I am the parent.
So as the parent, there's nothing wrong with being emotional. I'm just cluing you into that to know that you have to always check yourself about that part. Because you're doing self-help. So you got to realize that okay, if it's a big deal, if it's complex, then I got to go more complex with it. If it's not complex, don't put complex emotions on that part.
Yeah, that's what we need to tell them.
No, I'm telling you, because so when I tell you that the record room got all of it, then you know that you could go on in there because shoot, they got more than what I'm saying now. So you know that just anything you know that's in the record, they're gonna have an application, and you're gonna look down at John, and you're not gonna have like sweats or nothing. You're gonna be like, oh shoot, I'm coming in here to see what they got. Oh, they got that. Oh, y'all want that? Shoot, how much for this whole file? You know, you're gonna get to the bottom. You're not gonna be emotional about every part, or you can't achieve your goal because you'll be pulled to the left and to the right too easily. So just know that if you can't get the footage there in the court record, then you can get it by subpoena of the actual subpoena of the actual store once you open up the case. You know what I mean? So yeah, either way you slice it, you could do that. But that's all. Honest to you for that. But it's always an emotional roller coaster. If it happens to any of us, it's our children. So it's no dishonor in that. But it's just that we all have to coach that's why we're here. We have to coach each other, through those tough times of different things. If I'm about to trip out, you might remind me, no, magistrate, no, just do this and do that. Don't worry about that part. And I'd be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I was about to get too blown over about this. Because all this other part is really that stressful as well. So I'm just saying, so anything technical like that, don't get overblown. And we can help you get over that because it's just technical headaches that can really blow you out of water because it's like messing with a new iPhone you never touched or some crazy phone. You're like, I know these features, but I ain't never seen this screen before. Like, So honestly, with that, Islam, brother, L Day, Anime, you got next question?
I got a question. Look at my paper. Well, it's kind of a. I don't know if it's a question.
Well, go to your next question.
I was going to ask more about the Zodiac Constitution.
Just about it in general, what?
Yeah. I want to get more into it. I was supposed to come up to Philly to do more training in the adult chambers, but leg situation, Chris would tell you. It's like, But I'm slowly getting better, and I'm want to get more into it in the near future once I go to Philly here and there.
Well, I'll answer a portion, and then I'll let Baba Noel jump in and answer a portion as well. So the Zodiac Constitution is a document and a science of the natural phenomenon of the world. So it was written and compiled by CM Bay, as far as I know.
Love me some CM Bay.
I think somebody said, as far as my overstated, you have to do a fail request. I don't know what that means, brother, but maybe I'm gonna mute your mic, Shem. Let Shem mute his mic. So at any rate, it is so what CM Bay was masterful at doing was taking it wasn't necessarily unwritten, but let's just say the actual stars and the positions of the earth positions and stuff, and codified it into a constitution, since all the countries were utilizing it in their Freemasonic orders to run their governments.
That's what I thought.
So since the United States and since France and all modern governments are using that Masonic and Moorish structure to run their government, which means that they're looking up above their country. And if they're, let's say, in Japan, they're saying that this particular constellation of stars, this is not a mythical thing. This is actually a cluster of stars in the sky. So it's a cluster of stars in the sky. We just so happen to call it Sagittarius because people drew connected dot lines around it, and they, whatever. But that group of stars called Sagittarius is actually up in the sky, right? It's not like a philosophy. So it's over there. Japan would say that is the constellation that rules us. So every country has a constellation that naturally sits over top of that rules that country. So they would, in their countries, they naturally work in accord and work the government around those cosmological realities.
Is that Islam the science then?
Yes, it's Islam the science, but as far as you just taking it, it's just saying more plainly, just sacred geometry.
Can't tell that to the fundamentals.
Well, that's not your question, unless you want me to start talking about that.
Nah, I would just make it a little joke. That's it.
The fundamentals are people that are overly religious in either religion. Doesn't matter whether they're Christian. They think you talking about devil's worship, talking about the zodiac. If you're Muslim, they think you talking about devil's worship and the zodiac. So
you know what I was getting at though.
So you're right, but if you have to tell them if you say to a religious person, let's say overly religious, right, dogmatic, if you ask them what time is it, and they say it's 4:00 p.m., you're dealing with astrology, because that's the position of the stars. So they don't realize that it's not a philosophical thing at all.
Damn, that was so simple, bro. That was so simple.
But this is why I'm telling you, this is why I wanted people to have until we start doing the Ask the Magistrate, because they never get a question answered. Remember, they asked these smarty pants Moors. They asked these internet Moors. They asked these internet Moors, cyber Moors, all these questions. And these are not Moors that ever been to the temple, and these are not Moors that actually live what they talking about outside of the internet. So also hold on. Okay. Also, there's a lot of answers. Let's say in the center, you have the truth here, right? Now, all around the center are different points or perspectives or angles or angels of light, because it's like sun rays. the rays are shooting off from the center, right? There's a center truth, and then there's rays of truth on every angle. So everybody's standing on these different perspectives thinking that the other person's wrong. But they're really just on a different position of
Frequency,
different
like?
angle, right? So what happens is I always ask them, wouldn't you like the magistrate's answer? The answer from the judge, though? So finally, this is why I'm giving you these type of answers I'm saying. Because they don't want to make it that simple. If you know what time it is, you can say it's 4 p.m. You are actually dealing with astrology. You just what? Because you know where the stars and the sun and the moon is at right now.
But that's the thing. They just use that one Bible verse without reading all the Old Testament. The Old Testament, literally astrology.
How about that? But they just skip over it. But going back to the Clock of Destiny, Clock of Destiny is basically CM Bay being a 33rd, and 360-degree master Moorish Mason and astrologer, all this type of thing. He said, wow. So he just wrote down all the natural zodiac outcomes that had always existed. If you talk to somebody 50 years before CM Bay, they would have said, yeah, Taurus is opposite the Scorpio. Everybody knows that. Like, so it wasn't like, but he wrote it down what it meant for the country and what country was ruled by Taurus and what country ruled by Scorpio. And what part of the body Taurus is the throat, Scorpio, and how that acted out in society amongst Moors and Europeans in America.
Damn, did not know that.
So he did like the Prophet Noble Ali said. He imitated the Prophet in that sense when the Prophet said he came to blow the lid off or all the secret societies, right? More Baba Noel, you know, he had. So you have to unmute yourself. But at any regard, he was like a doubling down of that because he made small pamphlets, Clock of Destiny 1 and 2. He made the chart, and he'd say it in the small pamphlets got the truth, all the big old books, you know, whatever. But so the Clock of Destiny was the Constitution, the Zodiac Constitution was a written down declaration or proclamation of the natural zodiac things the natural relationships between all the signs that's in the sky, that's not philosophical, and which countries are ruled by those constellations and how those constellations are driving social events now and how they're going to drive them for the next whatever years until we go into a new dispensation. So that's why a lot of Moors that didn't have the Clock of Destiny, Zodiac Constitution on cap, they didn't have a major tool, a major key, like them guys say. You know what I mean? They didn't have that because they wouldn't be able to understand overarching things. They would think, oh, this guy's right. They're wrong. I'm right. You know, they wouldn't know that all these, Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, and Muhammad. So the Prophet wouldn't have put all of them on there if one was right and one was wrong. So the Zodiac Constitution was fleshing it out to show you that, oh, Jesus represents this constellation, Buddha, this constellation. You know what I mean? So he broke it all the way down. So, and then put it on paper and signed it. So that way, if you happen to be a natural being, a Moor, and the reason that we're all Moors, Brother Anime all day, and this is the most simplest way we could put it. And I don't know, you might probably heard it here first. And the reason that we're Moors is because we're spiritual beings having a human experience, meaning that we all were thoughts of Allah, right? That we're thoughts of Allah that came from the crown chakra of our Father, and that light traveled down his spine and it activated his sperm, and then we went through the birth canal and we went into what was called the mothership, and that mothership went down the birth canal and it moored itself into the inner lining of her womb so it wouldn't get flushed away in the next period. So you moored yourself then. That's why we're all Moors, because you can't park a boat. If you know, you park a car, park a truck, but if you look it up, no, it'll say you moor a ship like with a rope They put the rope in the ankle down. Yep. So when you're born, that's why the Arabs of the East can't fool us to say, "Oh, you are reverts or converts to Islam because you wasn't born Muslim." How could you not be born Muslim? They don't know the Islamic science. They just overly zealous people.
Yeah, that's just them.
Because listen, everybody that's born, you were in the position of sajda, which is the prayer prostration when you put your head on the ground. That's the position everybody comes out of their mom in. So you couldn't get into this world unless you did salat, unless you actually submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how could you everybody submitted to Allah to get here? So you couldn't have to become Muslim. That's why everybody's born Muslim.
Is that what a U or a O?
A U and a well. Let's get to that question next, but don't skip.
Sorry.
So that's why everybody's born a Muslim, meaning a person of peace, a natural being with internal peace. You know, Muslim muscles. You know, is an acronym, right? Muscles. You know, such and such limbs. You know, all that. So you were moored, and then when you came out your mom, you were moored again on the land as a baby, right? So that's what that explanation is about. I don't know what was the question I was even answering now, but we were talking about the clock of destiny, and I was saying that he signed it. The Zodiac Constitution, basically, when he codified these natural laws and this sacred geometry that already exists, and every government uses it. Every government uses this technology or technical knowledge to run their system to make it work. So he codified it on a document so that way you and I as Moors could basically say this is the law that we go by.
Right.
Because it's called the consent of the governed. So if you don't have a prophet in the holy book, which you do have a prophet in the holy book, but if you haven't proclaimed that, so you with your divine constitutional bylaws from the temple, Moorish Science Temple, but also your clock of death, your Zodiac Constitution was more civil. Like a lot of Moors used that because they couldn't get around. None of the Masonic courts in the world could get around the Constitution, clock of destiny language. I pulled out my clock of destiny, divine Zodiac Constitution clock card, my membership card, and shut it down different times in emergency when I could have really got beat up by the Romans.
Damn, is that powerful?
When I gave him the card, the European man who looked like a pig in a blanket,
It's for real.
He put his arm around me and said, "Brother," and ended the battle in the whole nine. We have been arguing for weeks. I had been going through it for weeks with them Romans. And I knew that was the day I had to have my clock.
So they do know.
Oh yeah. All day, every day. Especially here in this.
And also too, they might not know exactly, but when they see the right things on there, they go, I know what that means though. They might not know, he didn't know, he had never heard of the clock of destiny. So what like he knew, all he knew is when he read what it said, he said, I know what that means though. That was it. He was like, oh, and he saw those symbols and he was like, oh, and that was it. He said, brother. And I was like, wow. It just, so that's a
right
powerful
in front of
order.
your face.
Honors to the brother Nakeem Allah Bey up in Empire District, Port Hannah City, up in their Babylon District, so-called New York Corporation. He's the executive ruler of the Zodiac Clock Destiny School now. So honors to him, honors his sister Amala V. Bey, one of the members and graduates of the school, and all you know. So yeah, that was a good question. Clock of Destiny, Zodiac Constitution. You heard it here first. You know, this is the Ask the Magistrate portion. Anything you want to add about that, Baba Noel, about the Zodiac?
I would like to add, because people they have this how should I say it? They have this imagination that Charles Mosley Bey was not a student of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He was definitely a student of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, number one. Number two, he was part of the temple. He came hailing from so-called Ohio, or we call the Muakan district. So he was out there. And number three, he was part of the piece of the puzzle. And what I mean by the piece of the puzzle was he was a little bit part of the piece of the puzzle because he taught a little something to John Gibbons-Hill. He taught something to Emilia. He taught something to CM Bay. Yeah, I mean, and once you had those things that were being taught put together, he already knew that once his time was up on Earth, that they were supposed to take these different pieces of the puzzle and come together like Voltron. They would get the whole picture, but some people went this way. You know, his best friend Kirkman Bay, he went that way. You know, Emilio went that way. John Gibson went that way and taught, you know, Timothy and Richard. But CM Bay, Charles Mosley Bay, found it very important that, this numerology, this astrology, this makes we got to understand things because this is part of understanding what's going on. Most folks don't even know, too, that he had 2 other books. So he originally came out with 4 books, thought the world wasn't ready for these other 2 books, destroyed them. And yes, everything that's within the Clock of Destiny, book 1 and 2, all of that is about what? It's about figuring out, just like what the Magi just said, finding out which nation is underneath what sign they are, so therefore they can do their manifest destiny, their divine right of what they're supposed to be doing that's going to keep them running healthy and whole. So CM Bay, he also predicted a lot of things are going to happen in the next 300-400 years. And after that, what? Stars actually move and change. According to our Holy Quran, the Moorish Science of America, we measure time by cycles. That's mentioned in chapter 2. When Mary and Elizabeth were being talked to by Salome and Elihu in Egypt. When they went and talked about the sacred groves. It was talked about again in chapter 19 after the resurrection, after he went to the Silent Brotherhood back in Egypt in the temple of Saqqara, or what we also know as Heliopolis, the temple of the sun, in the city of On, in Egyptus, aka Kemet. And he came to him, and he showed him, demonstrated the possibilities of how he conquered death and saved the captive souls free, and demonstrated the possibilities of man, that man cannot die, but man can live again, and show the possibilities of man, because man has the body nor the soul, he's a spirit and a part of Allah.
All right, Islam. Now the brother's back. Thanks for that. We should be like on question number 9. What is?
Of course, I got a quick question.
Brother Shem.
For just one question. All right, so those cards, I see that you can have a travel ID that's like way different from a driver's license. The time card that you're talking about. So I'm Shem. That's Noah's oldest son. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I get back to where I belong? Now, like, this besides the court stuff, because now I'm thinking about more of, okay, my identity. Because like, this is the God's honest truth. All my life I felt off. I still tell my mom to this day, Mom, you sure that segregation ain't keep you and grandma hushed for a little bit? Because I feel different. I feel like it's a whole lot more out there. I don't even feel like we belong where we belong, and our timing is off. Like, I felt like I'm in a world where I don't belong. Well, I'm supposed to belong in a world, but I don't belong in a world that they telling me. You know, as you can see, I'm going through a whole bunch of HE double hockey sticks. You know what I'm saying? And I kept scratching my head like, man, I'm praying. I'm staying right with God.
Mm.
You cut out.
So I kind of get where he's at. So would you like me to take that question or you first? So he's basically talking about what cards in particular, because now he's understanding where things is at, what would be best for him. You can either take it first or I can take it, but maybe
Okay,
you should start first and I can follow up after that.
Yeah, go ahead. Just
And I'm supposed to be a Shemite.
So go ahead. Okay, we let them Baba Noel Magi respond to that first.
All right. So when it comes to issues of cars and travelers and all like that, these are tools. Yes, they do display who and what we are because we are supposed to proclaim our nationality. Therefore, they know that there is a distinction. All right. Yes. We are in their world, but not of it. So that's where the part and partial thing comes from. We are in their world, but not of it. Because we have our own worlds, many different worlds on this one planet. Never forget that. So as they have their own world, or what we call basically a society. Everybody has a society. Masons have their own society called True Society. The church has its own society. Everybody has their own society. The Amish has their own society. Most folks don't understand, for an example, because this is some of the work that me and the channel was trying to get to. When it comes to the Islamic Jews, they make sure they don't trust any goyim, anything. And they will shun their whole entire community if you try to go to any goyim, anything except to go into the Jews' zone court. If you got to go to the goyim court, they'll have their rabbis, instead of lawyers, their own rabbis will argue against other rabbis who's working for the prosecution, and they'll handle it in their own court. They have their own. And this is what is going on in Port Henry City, New York City. They have their own busing system. They will not use the Goin. If they find you the Goin busing system, you start getting shot. Supporting your own. And that comes to having society. So that's how we society these worlds. And when we have our world, these cards show that either A, we are a part and partial in their world, or two, separated from their world. So when you're talking about, first off, having a traveler's card, traveler's pass, you have to understand what you're also entails. Because that's a tall order. I know because I do it myself. I have an international which is works just like what? An international driver's license. So to understand the concept like that is when you want a tool like that, you have to be underneath someone else's jurisdiction, while also following the said laws of the jurisdiction that you're using in because you're a guest in someone else's house. All right. So when you talk about things like that, yeah, we have the right to free navigation. Travel is their commercial term, which they have copyright and trademark. So I would be careful of using such language like that loosely, because they can use this thing called rem and rest issue. Who has title my body? Rest means by what use of copyright was infringed upon. If you didn't copyright and trademark it, you don't have a right to use it unless you have explicit permission from the author, and they have a right to take care of that with you. Or like what the prophet said, any person using any words that allude to slavery, the people, the citizens of a free national Republican government have the right to put the label of undesirable on you and put all the abuses and treatments that the care to bestow upon you. Which goes right back to what we're still talking about, the important uses of the cards of distinctive ones. And in this case, in particular, using traveling navigational tools. Yeah, when you want to exercise a free right of navigation, free right to travel, you have to exercise and show certain things. They have to have the right wording on it, the right language on it, because language is the companion of empires, but one misspoken word can lead to an all-out war. There's plenty of people that have plenty of cards. I've seen it have the wrong language. They end up getting locked up, and they call people like me to check them. We gotta help them out. We got to be the intermediary to the foreign vendor, the hostiles that's trying to seek to do you harm. That devil that's going to and fro the earth, even now during the Moors. And we gotta help them out because they ain't got the wrong thing. So when it comes to that, there are particular ways of how that's done. it's about the land. Now, did you have a follow-up question that leads into that? Did I answer the first part so far? Is there a follow-up did you have with that?
Yeah. All right. So what steps do I have to take to obtain that level of knowledge? I just like, you know what I mean? Just getting stuff like getting passes and stuff is cool, but I want to have the knowledge to be able to utilize it correctly without it messing anything up, you know?
Yeah. So let me take this one. I want to go back to a little bit because what he was saying was great. Now, what that means is it's more important about the information on the card. He said it was a tool, it was an instrument.
Right.
So what that means is it's all about, but like I said earlier, when somebody asked me about tax exemption papers or 508 status, I was saying that the status exists already. You have the status by way of your activity. If you're doing business in this ministry business, then it's already tax exempt. So it's the same thing with proclaiming your nationality or living in your culture and all that. It's more about you studying the knowledge of yourself, studying the knowledge of your culture, and then being able to know what that is resolutely in mind, body, and spirit, emotionally, right? And then the card is just a reflection of your inner self, of who you are at that point.
Islam.
And if you deal with it that way, like the Noble was saying, that allows for you to learn it gracefully and not overshoot your boundaries or overshoot, put the cart before the horse. You won't put the cart before, you won't, have bad or unhealthy expectations. You won't think it's just a get out of free jail card.
That part.
You'll when I had my Clock of Destiny Zodiac Constitution card, it worked so well because I had done it in accordance with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's instructions. He said, don't go around flashing your nationality card to Europeans because it causes confusion. And he said also, it'll change right in your pocket. So I had to really go for it with that. What that mean was, for 10 days, I just battled it for my rights and immunities against that police department. And I never pulled out no ID. And I made sure I don't got to show y'all no ID. So I made sure for 10 days of me arguing with them off and on. It wasn't 10 days straight, but maybe we had 5 battles out of 10 days, which is still a lot for the police, right? And so out of us battling, dealing with a housing issue and a person who's upstairs who's like a crazy neighbor, so it's like the police have to keep coming out type of thing. The thing is, I didn't try to use it as a get out of jail. I didn't just flash my nationality card to them.
Right.
No, I dealt with their situation internally by expressing the proper emotions, by having a proper emotional composure. I stood properly. I behaved well. I spoke well. I talked about the laws. I talked about my own rights well. I never once said what my nationality was or that I'm some kind of a special person that needs special treatment. I didn't go into any of that. I just stood my ground, so to speak, about the laws that they have to abide by in this particular incident that we're dealing with.
Right.
But I didn't talk about I was tax immune. I didn't say I wasn't Negro, black, and colored, that I'm Moorish. I didn't say any of those things. I just rumbled them with the laws that they got, not laws that apply to me per se, but the constitutional laws and statutes and codes and ordinance that rule their behavior. So then after 10 days where they were so upset and the community was so upset that they weren't able to force me to show my ID, then I just happened to know that, and I brought my Clock of Destiny card out perfectly because I knew this was going to be the day that they were going to try to basically force me, compel me to do it. They was going to tackle me if I ain't show my ID this day. I knew it. And everybody
Didn't do that.
So that's not a stressful thought. No, why would that be stressful when it was such a beautiful day? I just pulled up my clock.
Oh
card,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
See, I'm saying how the
That
emotions
immunity,
have to be.
that diplomatic immunity.
Yeah. So remember, it's all about the emotions. You shouldn't
Yeah.
feel bad just because I said they were checking my ID. No, I couldn't. Imagine if I would have descended into that thought that you just had because I knew that. No, then when I knew that they were coming, I said, wow, this is day number 10. I told my wife, I said, listen, put all my ID in the glove compartment and give me my clock card. And she said, why just that? I said, oh, I can't talk about it now. Put everything away. But when they see this, okay. So it would have been like, man, this is messed up. No, I knew that for 10 days I had my way. I'm not delusional to think that I'm a army of lawyers by myself or something.
Right.
No, for 10 whole days, I was able to ward off the Romans and not show no ID. And the whole block got to show the ID. But I'm the only person not show the ID. Why would I be depressed about that? Go about it because I know they coming. So now on day 10, I know what's happening. But I was prepared. I wasn't depressed about it. I didn't go, man, they're gonna make me. No, this is. I'm like, haha. I'm ready for them today. So when they finally make me do it, I go boop, and they go, brother. Put their arm around me, no fight, cops go away, and we hit it off. They tell me all the secret, stupid stuff that they was doing in the situation. I'm talking about stuff they should never tell me. Like I could have sued them, right? I could have sued them. But look, just for them seeing the clock card, bro, he told me the whole racket, the cop. Boy.
That was their assumptions that made them change their mind once that card came up. They was like, oh, we assumed the wrong thing. Oh, whoa.
So then he started just telling me like, well, this is what we was trying to do, and this is what we trying to do. Don't I said, oh, he said, no, it's not legal, but this is our hustle on the side. I said, okay, officer. We started chopping it up. But I realized he was never going to tell. He would have been trying to arrest me still. But it's about those societies like Noble just talked about, the Magi just talked about, right? It was those societies, even though him and I are not in the same society, he knows that this card that has the Moorish symbols and everything, and he realizes, oh yeah, these are the people who we're trying to imitate any old way. He know that. So there, he bump into a real wizard, and he like, oh my God. So he didn't know about the clock of destiny. But he know how to read. He know what the words mean though. He go, oh snap. So that's an example of doing it the right way. I wasn't trying to learn something so I could just whip it out in my defense.
Yeah.
I was learning it because I need to learn it, period. So I recalibrated my energy. I always wanted to be successful. And I realized that people that come into this level of knowledge because they got traffic tickets or they got court cases and all that, they don't really sustain themselves and maybe not even have a success rate that's even that well because they actually, they're only there for the so-called benefits they might get out of certain legal for people in their right mind. When I'm telling you these things, this is just how the law works. They're over there thinking they're learning about legal loopholes. So it's different. They think they're learning legal loopholes. So it may not ever really work for them.
Yeah, I want to know the real law. That sounds like the real law to me.
Yeah, what I'm saying is their approach. I'm saying before they hurt me.
Right, I'm saying like before you start dropping this, you know what I mean? And we was busting up like a while ago. Like this knowledge right here, this sounds more like the real law.
That's what it is.
Out there written, the stuff that I gotta walk down the courthouses and say, yo, listen, I'm a vet. I need a package because I got the some papers because I don't think y'all understand the laws that y'all must have just wrote up today. You know what I mean?
But this why I gotta put out a chart because we created a chart in the interfaith court where it shows the highest jurisdiction is God, and down it goes from there to the angels, the angelic jurisdiction, they're the ones that do what God say. Remember, God doesn't do anything but speak. He says, "Let there be light," and then they run around and fly around and create it.
Right.
Then below that jurisdiction is the prophetic jurisdiction, the ones that the angel whispered into the prophet's ear or whispered into his heart, right? So that's that jurisdiction. Below the prophet jurisdiction is the apostolic jurisdiction of the high priest, the pope, and the magistrates and all the high wizards of Allah. So then that's the apostles' jurisdiction. Then below the apostles is the believers themselves who took a baptismal or shahada or took an oath of faith or whatever to the Most High.
I had a baptism and a shahada.
And then after that, then comes the president of the United States.
Whoa.
See, you have to have proper order of operations. Listen, I had said that same thing at the veterans
VMC?
No, at the veterans thing out Coatesville.
I said that big place. I know I dropped a couple veterans out.
It's a campus. It's a hospital campus.
Yeah,
I said that in their church. And they came and sent the cops to kick me out. Yeah. And guess what?
I've never been in there.
I said that. Listen, I'm talking about period point blank. The chapel, the church that's on the campus in Coatesville. I went there. And I wound up ministering there because the chaplain didn't show up.
Whoa.
I thought that I was going to get preached to like the other veterans that were sitting in the aisles. So we all was sitting there thinking the chaplain was about to come and hold services, but they didn't show up because they went to another building. So I wound up getting up and started preaching because I'm a chaplain.
Yeah.
So when I start preaching, a part of my sermon was that about the jurisdiction in the galaxy, in the universe. It went from God down to the believer, and then after the believer comes the president of the United States. So don't you know the chaplains at there? They sent the cops to give me a ticket for saying that. That's how deep that was. Well, didn't you just? Wasn't that a deep one when I explained it though?
That's divine right.
But wasn't it deep when I said that after the believer, meaning just the regular old believer on the streets, then comes the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Then guess what the cops said to me when the cops came to give me a ticket? I was scared as shit because I had no idea why. I just went to church at the VA. And while the cops was at my barracks.
Yeah, I know.
So when they come, listen. So when they came there, right? So I calmed myself down. I said, "Noble, you don't have no reason to be scared." But I just was like, what the hell? So then when the cops came, guess what the cops said to me? He said, "Listen, son. I loved what you said. I ain't giving you no goddamn ticket." Listen, he told me because the chaplain was like this, let's just say alternative lifestyle female chaplain from California.
Oh, she one of those.
So I won't blame it on the cop like he just said that about her, but let's just say the cop and I knew that what I was saying was down home good spiritual science, and if you're Christian or Muslim or whatever, you just gotta love the me dropping it like that. You know what I mean? Saying that it went from God, Allah, down to the angels, down to the prophets, and then the next person jurisdiction, that's the highest jurisdiction, is the apostles. Then the next jurisdiction is the believer, and then the next jurisdiction is the president on down. Ain't that deep? So he said it blew him away. He glad he watched the tape before, because they was taping me in the church, because they tape is VA, military base. So he said something told him to watch the tape before he come over and give me the ticket. He about to give me a ticket, give me all these threats, everything. And he said he watched the tape and he heard what I said. He said he can't do it. He got to come over and tell me don't go back in the church and say nothing though. He had to come tell me to my face.
True story.
You ain't supposed to be out here waking people up.
But he was a straight Irishman. Like he was a straight Irish Scottish guy. He was a ginger. He was an ally. He was they said gingers are black now. You ain't know they know they're Moors now. So anyway, but he was a ginger, and he was like, he ain't giving me no ticket. That was too hype. He loved it. He couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Just like how you reacted. You said, what? He said he was like, he taking that back to his white people church. He said he loved it.
It shocks him.
Shocked him. But the lady, so that's the chart I'm saying I gotta put out now that you mentioned it, man, because that chart is so powerful. It's going with what Baba Noel was speaking upon, and we going in that order. And if you go in that order, then they have to deal with your religious rights and immunities first, and that's what C.M. Bay and the Clock of Destiny, all those were attempts to double down on what the prophet masterfully had left his footprints clearly cut with. You see what I'm saying? So so the thing is to study the knowledge like we're doing now, and we'll give you some literature, inbox you some literature in Circle 7, and for us to do temple services with you all. Baba Noel, Chris Jackson Bay, he's done our online temple number 11-7 for so many years, and so I asked him to come on today and to reconvene and hold our meetings again online. And so he did open up in true Sunday school fashion. So this is why we're bringing it to you in this temple kind of heat like this too, Brother Shem. Because I said, no, we're going to open up temple style because people need what you said, Shem. I'm speaking to all his talkers about what you said, which is the highest law is all law, which is the spiritual realm and the spiritual knowledge. Yes, that's the highest jurisdiction. And then this is what that is. And as we learn the law, like we're doing now, which is the laws of the 7 laws of cause and effect and the Hermetic principle, the natural polarities, the sacred geometry of the thing, the whole Kabbalah, the whole supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet, right? That's what the Clock of Destiny, Zodiac Constitution, that's the whole thing right there. The whole Clock of Destiny, Zodiac Constitution is composed of supreme mathematics, alphabet, botany, science, sacred geometry. It's all on one chart. You could read that chart for 30 years and get something new every single day without even look at it. So that's what it's about, and we'll continue. But what I've learned that is not only is having those cards just tools, the people who follow what we say is doing on-the-job training are the ones that we teach, and I advocate them to do it that way. Other people just allow you to be believers, and as long as you come into their temple in their city and become a member and sit there like a church mouse and pay your temple tax and all that, they don't care if you ever rise up and have any kind of internal or whatever. They just kind of go, they'll just kind of be okay with you only being a believer and having your nationality. But we, as the Moorish National Republic executive rulers of all free Moors, whether they're in the temple or not, whether they're part of Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, or Muhammad congregations, we, as myself as the Sultan of the Moorish National Republic, the Sharif here, we help to all the grand bodies with their constituents. And nobody can lie more, Brother Shem, because they've all, whether they like me or not, all sent their nationals to our family court, because we're the only ones that have a court in the whole conscious community. Talk about it.
Wow.
Everybody else is doing legal work to help people do documents and what I call the Moorish law firm degree. And if they a lot of people like, let's say, young Pharaoh, they all help people, and they don't want to kind of mention Moors, even though the only way you knew you was indigenous, that it was all Moorish science. It was the only reason you knew you was the original man was because Elijah Muhammad. But then they diss Elijah Muhammad, and then they diss Prophet Noah Ali. But it's the only thing that makes them dynamically sounding. That's the only thing that makes them, you hear Young Pharaoh and all these people, Brother Polite, they'd turn around and diss their elders. That is the only reason that they sound powerful. It's because they study these elders up and down, left and right. So that's a sin. But those are those who don't want to mention Moors. But those even who are Moors, they may still just help you in the law firm capacity by helping you with documents, and that's it. So what we did was we opened up our Moorish court in the Court with Chapter 29 of the Holy Quran and Moorish Science Temple of America. that chapter is called magistrate and subject. So our court was commissioned by our Holy Scripture, and then we opened at the same time we opened up the interfaith court as an olive branch to the world, because there's more that honor Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, and that are all part of those different religious, body politics. So the interfaith court was a way to service all the nationals, no matter what their belief system is. So, and it's in accord with the temple. So that's how we, bridge the gap between having these physical tools like IDs but having the higher law of the spiritual awakening, which is in the 7th crown, having the 6th chakra opening by having the mental fortitude, right? Having the 5th chakra open by speaking these things into existence and speaking our rights and immunities, because silence is acquiescence. Having it in our heart. So you got to have it on all 7 chakras, not just the 3rd chakra represents people. The 3rd chakra represents the 3rd dimension, which is the earth plane, the physical world. So they keep on making you think about paperwork, which is a 3rd dimension, a 3rd chakra thing. They keep on making you think about an ID card, which is a 3rd dimension, 3rd chakra thing. So like you said, Brother Shem, we must always start with the spiritual law and spiritual jurisdiction, and then see how that works on all of the levels, including the paperwork level. The paperwork level is just one of the levels. And we can't forget the other 6, like you're saying. So that's what it is. Yeah, we're doing the spiritual law first at the top with Allah's jurisdiction, all the way down to the believer. And then we turn and say, even doesn't apply to us fully, we are part and parcel. So then after the believer's information, then we can deal with the jurisdiction of the United States or the president on down. Because they're not over you. You believe in Christ. You believe in Allah. You believe in yourself. So therefore, you took a pledge to Allah. You took a pledge to the spirit form. You took a pledge to the crown chakra. You got baptized on behalf of the crown chakra. So now they can't go above that, because you're honoring, render unto Caesar what Caesar should render unto God what is God. See? Next question. Praise Allah, Islam. If you just tuned in, it's Ask the Magistrate. We want to wrap up soon. We're going to see if there's another question by Brother Anime L Day. Make sure if you enjoy this, you share it.
I got one question.
Continue.
I don't know if it's a question or it ties back into the whole Zodiac Constitution. Now, I mentioned that the other day and stuff. You think, it did have kind of an effect in the past. We got 7 years of Uranus and Gemini, and if you did the studies about it, it's always something big that's going to happen. And I wonder if that ties into the Zodiac Constitution, or, hello?
Yeah. Well, thank you for that question. It's probably question number 10. But at any rate, the Zodiac Constitution basically gives more wide sweeping analysis, just like that, though.
That's what.
So it's totally relative. You see what I'm saying? What you're asking, because you there?
Yeah.
So
there you go.
It's totally relative, because what is happening is
G, you went out.
It's totally relative, because the question is, how does that relate? And how that relates is the Clock of Destiny Zodiac Constitution in book 1 and 2, they mainly cover more larger spans of time, right? They mainly cover more larger spans of time in the Zodiac Constitution. So it does talk about the times like now, though.
Yeah.
Because it's saying when these certain zodiac alignments happen, that first of all, the Ku Klux Klan was started in 1854 in Philadelphia, and it explains that, and it explains by the Masonic past master, Grand General Albert Pike or whatever type of thing.
The Grand Sovereign Commander. Yep.
Grand Sovereign Commander, and the Supreme Grand Sovereign Commander. So now the Ku Klux Klan serving as the goons of all the Masonic lodges, basically.
Yep.
So they were basically just goons. That's why they don't care if they're ignorant, even though they're Masons.
They read the Koran still?
They read the Holy Koran. There's an imitation
the Holy Koran
of Moors.
Is that real?
So what happens is, but the point I'm trying to get to in that sense is,
you go down that rabbit hole, man.
No, you're making me forget a little bit. I'm trying to answer your question.
Sorry.
What is the question again? Hold up. Oh, we said the Zodiac. How does that work in accord with that? So he said, Clock of Destiny. He says the Ku Klux Klan was started primarily, and its whole agenda is to stop the free sexual interaction between the European Albion woman and the Asiatic Moorish man, a black man, so-called misnomer. So what that is, and what he says is because when the zodiac signs were in different alignments, that's why you could not stop the European Albion man mixing with the Moorish woman. And that happened during bondage era called slavery times, for the lack of better words. So what happens is in the Clock of Destiny, book 1 and 2, he explains how Yaqub's experiment, Yaqub creating the European Albion, the grafted devil. Yaqub's experiment actually happened in South America in the Yucatan Peninsula. And that's why Tarzan, the movie, he was swinging through South America. And that's why, so in that area, he speaks about that. And then he fast forwards and says that no matter what you tried, you could not stop that free racial mixing between the Albion man and the Moorish woman. And that was accomplished through the mechanism of slavery, we know, right? Through bondage. But he said for all of the revolutionaries out there, I mean, if you just tuned in, just ask the Magi, they want to kill the white man and kill the European, this is how they feel. And they get all super duper angry. CM Bay said it ain't no reason for no hate as Moors. There's no reason to hate or deal with no kind of anger, nothing like that, because the zodiac alignments we're in right now is the opposite. Nothing in the world can stop the free sexual contact and baby making between the Albion woman and the Moorish man, the black man.
Yep.
So whether you like it or not, he said all Albions will disappear. All Albions are going to disappear within the next 50 years anyway. That's he's saying. So why would you be mad, hateful, and all that? But they're going to come, whether you like it, whether I like it, whether the KKK likes it, whether Dr. Umar don't like it.
Right.
It don't matter. They're going to mix with us until they die out.
Yep.
So hold on. To cap it off, he said that those zodiac alignments, like the one you said, Uranus, I said, I'm not speaking to that one specifically, but he talks about a lot of those types. And that's one of them. He says, no matter who likes it or doesn't, it's not something that Moors have to be angry about, of how the European is going to get taken off the planet and, we got to get together and get guns. Nobody has to do anything at this point, because trust me, LeBron and whoever else they the basketball stars, they're knocking them down. The rappers is knocking them down. Like, what I'm saying? So everybody in Jersey got a European girl. So we're knocking them down. In New Kent, Pennsylvania, they're knocking them down. So everybody
down like that in Jersey.
I still got 100%. I'm still good. I'm still good. You still got one good one. I'm trying to tell you, I'm still good. I'm good. I don't got a European. I don't got a European. I don't have a European girl.
No, I mean, in general, just because you find one, it's like the ladies, we tell them they ain't good, it ain't good enough. That's just one guy. But
I like them. I ain't dissing.
Say it again.
I ain't dissing them. I love them. I love them like my sisters. But I'm just, I'm on a different journey.
Hey, you heard that first? And you heard it here first, sisters. He's still, he's like still Aaron Hall.
A meeting that I had before, and I had an interview, and I had people in the background. They were just people that I got acquainted with is no. Yeah, I got two little girls I gotta save first before I can.
Well, see, you heard it here first. He said his brother in Jersey ain't like that. Well, I'm just speaking to just in general the temperature, but it don't mean everybody. So no offense, no
You
offense.
been in Florida too much,
no
man.
offense,
But
like,
this
we
is-
love the sisters. We love.
But just speaking to the fact of that means you're not helping out enough, brother. Then.
Oh,
Because
I ain't-
CM Bay said the brothers is helping out, that's knocking them down. And they so he just flipped the whole thing. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The brothers was quick to step up. I ain't doing my part. No.
Yeah, like it starts.
I ain't
I'm
even
down
do
knocking
it.
my part.
Like, look,
I know I
I'm
ain't doing
down
my
knocking
part.
my
I'm
part. But
interested.
listen, because what happens is, remember, the holy prophet, the prophet Noble Ali has stated, and he gave holy instructions, that we are not to seek to amalgamate with the pale skinned nations of Europe.
Or marry with them, but
Or marry with them. But guess what? But that's why CM Bay came back with a clarity, says, whether me and you as Moorish nationals, it ain't like it's 20 million of us numbers across country. So all the Moors in the temple can follow that rule all day, and it don't matter. All the basketballs, people, and everybody around the country is still going to outnumber you, and it's still going to happen. You're going to screw them out of existence.
I'm just purposely staying focused on the mission that I got, because once this is
we
done,
wasn't even talking about you, but thank you for that.
we still got the
Y'all
Tower of
wild.
Babel that got to be finished being dismantled. So the bull Nim, he done started reconstructing that Tower of Babel. And you know who did that?
No, who did start reconstructing it?
Nimrod.
You mean he started reconstructing it now? You we talking about?
Yes.
I missed the whole thing.
That's
Okay.
why. That's why.
You gotta go back.
What you
Maybe I missed the first part of what you were saying.
All right, so the Tower of Babel, like as far as like people mixing and all of that, that's because they're trying to reestablish.
No, you got to ask a question.
Oh, okay.
Because you're talking about things that I'm confused with where you're coming from, and we have a whole teaching behind the power of Babel.
So basically, all right, this is like somewhat of what you were saying as far as how the brothers is knocking them down. We scoring. They gotta do something to keep their lifespan going. All right, so
I didn't say that though. No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
No, I said CM Bay says that no one has to, as Moors, we should not be looking to be angry, hateful, or anything about Yaqub's experiment. Not what you're saying, because we don't have to deal with any of that, because nature and the zodiac alignments dictate that there's going to be unlimited free association and sexual contact between the European woman and the Moorish man, to the point where Yaqub's experiment will be over. Because they will go out, with the all brown Asiatics or whatever, right? So we're staying there. That's what we're talking about. Go ahead. Next question, though.
But it ties back into that. So the 6,000 years of that experiment.
Yes, it's been up, but that's why people. Elijah Muhammad already said it was up. We already knew that. That's nothing new. The whole thing for the Black Panthers, the whole thing for the whole RBG movement, the whole thing for the Nation of Islam, the whole thing for all these people that
FBA
actually are
now?
very conscious, huh?
Even we gonna put FBA in there too?
Yeah, FBA or whoever. The whole thing about them is they think that they have to do something extra or take on other emotions of anger and hate in order to fight the Albion man. Huh?
It's exhausting. You're right, 100% right.
So more science in this level is a spiritual law, Brother Shem. We know, like the Zodiac Constitution question from Brother Anime El Day there is solving all of these answers. Because in the Clock of Destiny, in Zodiac Constitution, he's stating that CM Bay is speaking on that. Because all the other progressive movements will have you overly angry and overly exhausted, like he said. You blew all your sprockets out and you ain't even solved half your problems. You done over emotionally cried and been angry 20 times a day over things.
Right? I got screws. I got screws and hardware holding me together. I ain't even got no more sockets.
Yeah, but I'm saying whatever it is. So when you come to this level, we don't do that. We don't do that, and we're grooming everybody to be on their angelic form. The angelic form is where you start to vibrate above the emotional plane. You maybe not be in the stomach where you're so mundane to be in the third dimension, right? But you're just one step up here where you're always emotional. Nah, don't stay there either. All your thoughts can't be centered from that vibration. Take the thoughts up more and start to think about them from a higher point. Like the prophet says, something to you raise your vibrations. How do you say it? Raise your thoughts up to infinite thinking, something to that effect.
Wisdom, the infinite wisdom. What is that? Where's our thoughts to infinite wisdom?
There you go. I mean, so that's where it's at. We're just going over that part, and we're going to wrap up. But that's what it is. We're just saying that Yakub's experiment that people have been talking about for 100 years now. C.M. Bay wrote the Zodiac Constitution and Clock of Destiny books, and he addressed it in there. And since 1954 or whatever it was written, people have forgotten that or never known that. So there's a lot of conscious people on the front line of the movement of liberty and justice, freedom, justice, and equality that are overextending themselves, exacerbating their lifestyles and everything, going to jail for no reason because they overly mad. I'm mad. So they're doing all kinds of stuff because
I'm trying to vibe.
Because they think that they gotta do something else before this Albion gets taken off of the plane. Right? Don't they think that? Don't they think they gotta do? The US just invaded Venezuela. They think they gotta do more. So they're panicking. So we already know as wise angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we on high. We already know, let the race mixing continue. We know what's CM. We already know how this is about to end in a few minutes. We ride it out, going to the Buddhist monastery in the clouds, having a good time, because as angels and immortal beings, we will always wait you out.
I like
how many times I told a European, y'all about to die. I'll wait you out. He'd be like, yeah, I can just wait you out. You're about to be dead. I could just not talk to you for like 5 or 10 more years. You're pretty much, you know what I mean? Like, so we could wait him out, and that's why the prophet said he was giving us. The brother said he like rice bunnies. I'm done.
Yeah.
I like rice bunnies. Hold on, I gotta pick Baba Noel back. Is he back there? Hold on. Yeah. I'm here. I like rice bunnies, but I'm just saying. Right. So that's why we, on the angelic level, we're not mortal. We don't have to take it personally. We already know. Oh, why don't we stay up in the Nimbus clouds? I'm on my Nimbus cloud. Shout out to Dave P.
Yeah, I need you on them Nimbus
clouds. So that's why we don't have to be angry about these things. Those are some of the keys right there. You know what I mean? By 2050, they said they ain't gonna be hardly no more Albions anyway. So we just gotta be ready for the fact that when that bloodline comes back into the Asiatic nation because of the mixing, that we don't allow that roam, because then the experiment is over.
May I add something along with that, Magi?
Go ahead, Magi.
Because the prophet had a couple prophecies and hadiths about it. He said, one day your power won't be trying to get with European women; it'll be trying to run away from them.
Beat them up with a stick.
You around like a rabbit chase, like a hound chasing around a rabbit.
Harem's part 2.
One day there's going to be so few men that there's going to be all this women coming around trying to look for a man that you're going to have to beat them off with a stick.
Get you a harem.
But see, they're getting themselves all into various snafus, and it's about that time now, it seems. So we're wrapping this up.
All right.
Any last questions? We've got 1 minute, but we'd like to give honors to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give honors to Baba Noel, Brother Shem Aaron Hall, Anime L Day, Brother Richard Droop, Davis L, myself, the Magistrate Sufi Eel, One love to everybody, all these Moors across these shores. My Empress, I'm giving everybody give my thoughts and prayers out to my Empress, Dr. Poetica Bay, you know me, under duress and distress, but we love her the best, and I'm willful that she stay blessed. And might give love to all my children, the Bay Band Family Trust, Qayyum Sufi Il, Commander Kalia, Tupac Bay, and who's Deja Bay, Naija Bay, and he shouts out brothers.
Islam.
Islam. Any shouts out, Sifu?
All right.
I want to give shouts out to the Kearney Prophet, his Imperial Majesty Anu El Bay, and the whole entire Mexican Empire National Collections of Souls, as well as any and all Moors, whether they nationalized or not, for this whole Moors Christmas season. This is a Moors Epiphany season. You know, I just also want to make sure I shout out all that too. So therefore, you know, Baba Noel Bay, K. Morris Santa's here. I got
Morris Santa's on deck. 12 days of Christmas, he did it, and going to Prophet Oju Ali Day another year. Thanks to praise all. Another ask the magistrate. We're gonna do it up next time, inshallah, mashallah. Islamism.
Islam.
Shalom, shalom.
Happy Christmas.
Shalom.
Oh.